I did pretty well in school. Decent grades, showed up consistently, stayed out of trouble. By most conventional measures, I was a good student. But there's one thing I look back on now and genuinely wish I had done completely differently. And it has nothing to do with my grades, my major, or any of the academic decisions I made. It's the relationships I didn't build. For most of my time in school and then through university, I kept mostly to myself. I had a small circle, stayed in my lane, focused on getting things done, and didn't put much deliberate effort into meeting people, making friends, or staying in touch with the ones I did know. I thought that was fine. I thought the work was the thing that mattered. I thought if I just kept my head down and did well academically, everything else would fall into place. It took me years after graduation to understand how wrong that assumption was. And in this video, I want to talk about why, honestly, without the usual networking tips surface level framing, because I think this is something a lot of people in school right now need to hear. In school, I had a very simple mental model of what success looked like. Study hard, score well, get into a good university. That was the goal, and everything was filtered through that lens. What that model didn't have room for was people. Not in any meaningful, intentional way. I had classmates. I had people I sat next to for years, but I never really invested in those relationships. I didn't go out of my way to help people. I didn't make the effort to be genuinely present in group settings. I treated school mostly as a solo project, something I was trying to complete efficiently rather than experience fully. And the thing is, nobody told me that was the wrong approach. If anything, the whole system kind of reinforced it. Grades are individual. Rankings are individual. The incentive structure of school rewards what you produce alone, not what you build with other people. So I kept optimizing for the thing that was being measured, and I completely neglected the thing that wasn't. But here's what I didn't understand at the time. The people sitting in those classrooms with me, those were the connections. Those were the future colleagues, collaborators, references, and friends I was passing by every single day, and I treated them like background. University was worse, honestly, because in university, the opportunities are everywhere. Events, communities, organizations, study groups, shared projects, dormitories full of people who are going through the exact same transition you are. University is one of the rare environments in life where you are surrounded by hundreds of people at roughly your same stage, with similar interests, navigating similar uncertainty, all in the same physical space for years at a time. That doesn't happen again after you graduate. The conditions for that kind of connection basically don't exist in the same way once you're in the working world. And I mostly let it pass. I went to class. I studied. I did the work. I went home. I convinced myself that I was being focused and productive. What I was actually doing was avoiding the discomfort of putting myself out there, hiding it behind the language of discipline. I didn't join organizations because I told myself I didn't have time. I didn't go to the social events because I told myself they weren't useful. I didn't make the effort to stay in touch with people I did click with because I told myself I'd reach out when things settled down. Things never settled down. And most of those people are gone now. Not dramatically, just quietly. Contacts who could have been genuine relationships. People who might have shaped the direction of my career or my life. Conversations that never happened because I kept postponing them. That's the part that stings the most, actually. Not the big missed opportunities. The quiet ones. There's a stat that gets referenced a lot in career research. Somewhere between 70 and 85% of jobs are filled through personal connections rather than open applications. Whether or not that number is perfectly precise, the principle behind it is consistent. Who you know matters enormously. Not because the world is unfair and connections are the only thing that count, but because humans naturally trust people they know, or people vouched for by someone they trust. That's not a flaw in the system, it's just how people work. Which means the effort you put into building relationships in school, in university, and every environment you move through is not separate from your professional and personal growth. It is part of it, often a bigger part than the grades or the certificates. But it goes beyond career opportunities. The research on human well-being is also very consistent on this. The quality of your relationships is one of the strongest predictors of how happy and healthy you are across your lifetime. Not income, not status, not achievement, relationships. The Harvard Study of Adult Development, one of the longest longitudinal studies ever conducted, followed people for over 80 years and reached one clear conclusion. Close relationships, more than anything else, keep people happy throughout their lives. I knew none of this at 18, but even if I had, I'm not sure I would have believed it. I was so focused on the measurable things, marks, results, outputs, that anything soft and relational felt secondary. That was a very expensive mistake. I want to be honest about why I didn't do this, because I don't think it was purely about being introverted or not knowing how. A big part of it was fear. Fear of being awkward, fear of reaching out and getting no response, fear of showing up somewhere and not knowing how to fit in, fear of rejection, which is a perfectly normal human fear, but one that I let make all my social decisions for me for years. It's much easier to frame avoidance as productivity, to tell yourself you're being efficient and focused, when what you're actually doing is staying safely inside a comfort zone that isn't really comfortable at all. And I think a lot of people in school and university are doing exactly the same thing right now, telling themselves that the socializing can wait, that they'll connect more after the exams, that they'll make the effort when things are less busy. But school is never not busy. University is never not demanding. There will always be a reason to postpone. The truth is, building relationships takes exactly the same thing that everything worthwhile takes: showing up consistently even when it feels uncertain, being willing to be a little awkward sometimes, and caring about other people enough to put in genuine effort. It's not complicated, it's just uncomfortable. And I chose comfortable for too long. So if I could go back, here's what I would actually do differently. And I'm not going to make this a list of networking tips, because that's not really the point. The first thing is just this: be genuinely interested in the people around you. Not strategically, not because they might be useful later, just because people are interesting, and most of them have something worth knowing. Ask questions, remember what people tell you, follow up. That alone separates you from 90% of people, because most of us are too focused on ourselves to actually pay attention to others. The second thing, show up. Join one organization, one club, one group project where you actually engage. Not to pad a resume, not to collect connections, but to be around people who care about something the way you care about something. Shared interest is one of the fastest ways to form genuine connection, and school gives you more access to that than almost anywhere else in life. Third, stay in touch. This sounds so obvious it barely feels worth saying, but the number of people I let drift because I didn't send a single message after a shared class ended is genuinely embarrassing in retrospect. A brief check-in, a shared article, simple "how are you doing?" Those small gestures compound into real relationships over time. Not following up is a choice, even when it doesn't feel like one. And finally, stop treating connection as a reward you'll give yourself after the real work is done. The connection is part of the real work. It always was. If you're watching this and you're still in school or you're partway through university, I want to say this as directly as I can. The time you have right now, surrounded by people at your same stage, in the same environment, with relatively low stakes for putting yourself out there, is genuinely rare. You will not have this again in the same way. The grades matter, the skills matter, but the people matter too. Probably more than you currently believe they do. And unlike grades, you can't retroactively build a decade of relationships after you graduate. That window closes. I'm not saying any of this to make you anxious. I'm saying it because I was the person who thought the relationships could wait. And I'm now the person who can tell you clearly they can't. Make the effort. It's worth it. If this video hit something real for you, drop a comment. Tell me whether you're someone who's still in school dealing with this, or someone looking back like I am. I want to hear where you're at. Like the video if it was worth your time, subscribe if you want more content like this, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.